Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. I have a crazy reaction video for you. I have a reaction video of a black lady who loses her life to her fiance. He stabs, strangles, and then sets her on fire. And this is not a regular type of thing. This is a man who has a pookie mindset, an, a violent mind. Well, we're going to go ahead and play this clip, and you let me know what you think about it in the comments. And I'm going to go ahead and play this for you right about now. Hold up as I pull it up.
On Memorial Day, Stacy's boyfriend proposed to her. She was on top of the world and excited about this new chapter in her life. On June 9th, Stacy dropped her daughter off at work before starting her day, never realizing that she would never see or speak to her again. Just after 11:20 a.m., Detroit police were called to a home on Berg Road on Detroit's west side. Upon arrival, they would locate the partially burned body of an adult female.
The incident happened on June 9th in the 20,300 block of Berg Road in Detroit.
The victim was identified as 48-year-old Stacy Smith, who was sadly pronounced dead at the scene. According to her 19-year-old daughter, she went over to her mother's home after she was unable to get in contact with her. Once inside, she would immediately recognize the smell of lighter fluid. She would ultimately make a gruesome discovery, finding her mother's deceased body inside of her room with a noticeable burn mark on her leg. An autopsy would later reveal that Stacy was in fact strangled to death and stabbed in the chest. It is believed that whoever killed her tried to cover up the crime with the fire. Just 3 days after her murder, police would quickly arrest her fiance, 42-year-old Cortez Xavier Coleman. Stacy's family says their lives have completely changed and that this is a feeling that will never heal.
You know how vengeful and angry you got to be at somebody, how hateful hearted you got to be to strangle, and that wasn't enough. Then you stab that person in the chest, and that wasn't enough. So you set them on fire, knowing they're probably still gonna be breathing a little bit, maybe still alive. But you burn up the flesh. You're trying to cover up the scene, of course, trying to burn up all the evidence. But can you imagine the mindset of a man who is about to marry a woman who flips all of a sudden and commits this type of crime? See, the reason this video is being made today is to prove to women that they are horrible when it comes to choosing men. Y'all have bad judgment, bad discernment, man. I talk about that all the time. Y'all don't have the ability to discern between evil and good no more. That's what I noticed. You make your judgments based on BS. A man, you can't tell that you dating a man who may take your life. There had to be some kind of red flag somewhere. This doesn't just happen. Or what did you do to make this man want to do that? That's a real question.
Although they did not know much about Coleman, they never expected something like this to happen. From what they knew, everything in the relationship seemed fine, and Stacy was super excited about her recent engagement. In fact, the couple lived together along with her son and daughter for 2 years, and there were no signs of physical or verbal abuse. Her daughter recalls the two arguing the day of her murder. However, there was no physical altercation. Now her daughter, who should be enjoying her early years of college.
My question is, what was the argument about? It had to be something to make a man flip out like that. Something had to happen. Something had to happen. If you're about to marry this woman, I think there's something this woman did. You know, the news love to make the victim look like a victim. I think there's something that this woman was doing or did. I'm not saying she deserved this, but that is highly unusual, especially if you say there's no signs of any type of domestic abuse in this relationship at all. No one coming forward saying, look, I know that he was hitting us, she was trying to get away. No one is saying this. Everyone is saying they had a good relationship. The daughter said that she saw them arguing. Everyone says they had a good relationship. And then that day, find out that he took her out. There's more to the story than this, man. I really believe that woman was doing something messed up. And you might want to say I'm victim shaming, which I am not, but I'm trying to show both sides of this. It don't make sense. I don't believe everything I hear. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that a man who doesn't have any prior records or doing anything violent all of a sudden said, I want to take out the woman who I proposed to. That doesn't make sense to me. I think she's at fault some kind of way.
And all the experience has to offer, is forced to step up and care for her 14-year-old brother who is struggling with the reality of his mother's death.
My mom was the most beautiful spirit.
You can see that spirit has been passed on to daughter Kaya Smith. A smile, even though just last week she found her mom, Stacy Smith, dead, murdered in their West Side Detroit home.
I found her.
Yo, what's going up? What's going on with y'all in Detroit, man? I done did like a couple videos and y'all just taking people out, man. What is it out there? Something in the water? What is going on out there, man? Shout out to Theo Coop. I think you from there, right? I'm just saying, man, you better keep your head down, man. I didn't know it's that serious. I know it's bad in Houston, but dang, what y'all got going on out there, man?
She was laid unconscious in her room, and she had a burn mark on her leg. I touched her. She was cold, and at that point, I called the police as fast as I could.
Kaya
I want you to think about everything that lady just said. Imagine coming home and finding your mother dead with burn marks on her. You touch her, she cold. That daughter is gonna be forever traumatized by this. Women, you have to choose better. You have got to choose better because you are choosing men and not even thinking about your children. All you think about is yourself, about what you like, what you love, what you want, and then what you want takes your life, and now your daughter got to deal with the consequences of your stupid decisions. Think about that.
Leg. I touched her. She was cold, and at that point, I called the police as fast as I could.
Kaya says their house smelled like lighter fluid or gasoline, and her mom's bed was partially burnt. An autopsy would later reveal 48-year-old Stacy was strangled to death. Her fiance was arrested by Detroit police this week.
It really changed.
Think about it. She was dead after strangulation, right? So why did he stab her in the chest right after he strangled her? You can't kill a person twice. If they dead, man, they dead. You strangle. See, that's a crime. That's a real hateful crime. Something had to be done. That's one of them ones they say if you stab somebody, that means like 100 times. That means you really had something against them. For someone to strangle you till you lose your life and the light come out of your eyes and stuff. There's a reason for that. Did she cheat on him? Did he discover she messed around? It was something that triggered that man. And then after she leaves this earth, you decide to go get a butcher knife or whatever, and then you stab. You know she's gone. I'm gonna tell you something, man. And then you want to burn the body. That woman did something, man. That woman did something. I don't care what nobody say. That woman she don't deserve what happened to her, but that woman did something.
Old Stacy was strangled to death. Her fiance was arrested by Detroit police this week.
It really changed our life in a really drastic way, and I want him to know that like this is really like unforgiving.
The fiance has not been charged yet. That's why we're not naming him.
As of what I knew, he loved my mom, and my mom really loved him. Like my mom was very excited.
That's my point. If everyone believes that this man loved this woman and she loved him, and then he snapped and did that, he wasn't a serial killer. He doesn't have any history of violence like this, from my understanding. That woman was doing something that triggered that man. She probably stepped out on him, something, maybe gave him an STD, got pregnant. I don't know. But there's something that's not being told here.
Got engaged on Memorial Day.
Kaya says her mom's fiance lived with them for 2 years.
It's very unexpected because I've never seen him ever, I've seen arguments and they were actually arguing that day, but I've never seen him put his hands on my mom or them get physical ever.
Now Kaya, a 19-year-old junior at Grand Valley State University, stepping into a caretaker role for her 14-year-old brother.
He's not taking it good. He's not.
Kaya says she lost her best friend.
My mom did everything for me. So it's kind of like I'm just kind of getting thrown out there.
Yep. That's a tragic story. That's a terrible story, but I still stand on my ground. I stand my ground right here because I believe she did something. I believe she brought it on herself some kind of way. I don't think she's completely innocent. I really think that woman did something that took that man off, and I don't think she deserved what happened to her. But I hold everybody accountable, and I think she need to be held accountable for whatever she did to trigger a man. That man was not on no medication. He didn't have no mental problems. Y'all need to stop jumping on these men this way and say, oh, he's a monster. He's a monster. He's a monster. What he did might be an act of being a monster, but you need to look at the motivations and the intentions of why he did what he did. That's how I look at it. Exactly how I look at it. Ain't gonna change from that either. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Talk to y'all soon.